the depth of concern that my sister Laura exhibited when I described for her the evil incident when I was locked in a house from the inside and couldn't escape when the crowd there brought in James Kasparowski was alarming even to me, not because it wasn't warranted, compassionate, and justified, but because it was never exhibited. Those characteristics of observation were never exhibited by the rabbit and the government that pulled that evil stunt. For Scorsese, Peter Gabriel, Oliver Stone, Ming-Na Wen, Clint Eastwood, and Yoko Ono. She knew what a Manson ordeal I had been put through, and it shocked her to hear that that took place. Now, that's the long and short. You might wonder, why don't I put that in Substack, type it up? The reason is because I have Parkinson's, for one thing. So I'm going to try to make this tape one that is given earnest consideration by the fanfare, a sycophants for Paul McCartney, and the sandbaggers who will comb the android zone looking for little snickering things that they can say to justify facilitating 60 years of horrible torture upon a symbolic American for no reason other than that I was a symbolic American. I'd certainly done nothing wrong at the age of 9, but been an impressionable, beautiful, sensitive, intelligent little boy. And they ruined me. All of them laughed about it. The explanations could be simple ones. Maybe Clint Eastwood was jealous of my age and my promise. There's no telling what they did. They made millions of dollars doing it. Peter Gabriel's shows sold out for years. So I have to extend this talk so that it comes to somebody's attention. And yet that incident stands out. It was by Leslie Park with the Salk Research labor. And John Seitz was present. The black community were looking for a way to partner up with the Ku Klux Klan. So they said, we're buying the story that's being sold about you by Braunstein and Swimmer and the people who made good on sneering and slanders and slurs in the community that I came from. The depth of the depravity and evil that was visited upon me meant nothing whatsoever to the so-called Amnesty International clique. And if I ever had to doubt that, you know, my sister once said she was really glad. She said twice to me, because her memory isn't very good these days. I was really glad when you mentioned that Roberto Clemente waved to me, because if you hadn't been there, I would wonder if it really happened. Oh, it did happen. He brightened up his day. He smiled and waved to my sister. He smiled. It was fabulous. What am I talking about? If I ever had to doubt because of the brainwashing, sinister cruelty and sadism of that monster, Adrian Belew, that I was tortured by James Kasparowski. That sad, penetrating concern in my sister's eyes when she stared at me after I recounted what happened means she saw more than she ever told me. Because if I had known that there was anybody in the world who could have validated my recounting, I would have gone straight to Laura Crary. Instead, I groveled at the post office and said, please consider the possibility that John Schulman is committing mail fraud, sir. He seems to have swindled you for an insurance claim. Not because I had hopes of capturing John Schulman in his insidious allusions to knowing what Kasparowski had done, but because I wanted to make certain that there was a check put where checks were due. There needed to be a check on what was happening somehow. And it occurred to me that I was skeptical when he showed me his insurance claim. And maybe that would be a good place to begin to try to defuse the control board of the people who were so insidiously bragging, manipulating circumstances for Scorsese. Not to get revenge because they ripped off my wonderful stamp collection that I spent hours poring over with my father. Simply because I couldn't believe it was real. That they were doing this and getting away with it. And rubbing my face in their cold-blooded lies and calling it poetry. The Jews said after Auschwitz, no more poetry. And they supplanted it with evil, psychopathic, fascist cinema. And the Postal Union said, no, stop spreading rumors about dignified people. Those are your betters. Stop spreading rumors about them, queer ball. And finally, after 15 years of brutality towards me, driving me into seizures, poisoning me, castrating me, giving me Parkinson's, terrorism upon terrorism, poisoning me in the mouth, luring me to Seattle in the name of a safe zone so that they could pull and consecrate Ripper murder as intimidation. They finally had to admit that John Schulman was robbing the museum. Did anybody in Seattle apologize to me? Hell no. I was doing courtesy to the city of Pittsburgh at my own risk, and they lashed out. They were not having any of it. They loved those Andrea Swimmer tawdry slur stories of a woman who forced herself on me and chased me up a tree with a gang of naked men. Literally. In Frick Park. So the NAACP could make pornographic genocide secret tapes of me for Yoko Ono. And slap five with the KKK in Lawrenceville and call it their product. It was not my intention to get hot and bothered here. It was just my intention to prolong the feeling of support that I had when Laura stared at me that way. Oh, Roberto wouldn't smile to see how Seattle Green Party used his name to rape a retarded deaf girl in Pittsburgh. No, he wouldn't. Don't buy that Hector Martinez jazz. Orlando Cepeda, who are you trying to fool?